What's up? I just made a separate clip right before this. I don't know if I'm gonna put it together, but I finally scripted what I kind of wanted to say. So I'm Ethan Hill. This is going to be the first introduction video of my channel. Everything I do is pretty much going to be either fitness or kind of like self-improvement based. I will be on Instagram as well, which I guess I'll add that in at the end. Let me see if I can get like some books here. Stack this on top so it's a bit better. There you go. You can kind of see me a bit better. Yeah, so the whole point of this channel is more just to be a journey getting back to where I once was. I'm 19 right now. 2 years ago, I was probably in what I would call just like the best point in my life. For a few reasons. I was, locked in, or whatever, if you really want to use that term. I don't think we really had that 2 years ago. But there should be short, no cuts. I might have just had one there because I thought I heard my roommate coming into my room. Currently a college student, as you can see. There's just outside, whole room and whatever. So 19-year-old college student. I'm in finance right now. I enjoy it. It's okay. But as I was saying, so 2 years ago, probably the best point in my life. Yeah, I was locked in, quote unquote. I think everything in life, I had a very negative period before that where I had moved from pretty much almost cross country from West Coast to East Coast. So obviously that's a big change to kind of like leave behind your not really childhood friends. I've been there since like 5th grade. So I mean, when you grow up during middle school, that's a very fundamental, like foundational time. So a lot can kind of happen and change. A lot of who I am now is kind of influenced from that. So obviously leaving something that you've been so deeply connected to for so long is obviously difficult. But over time, with self-improvement of just things that I've come to learn through my own practices, through learning from other people, I've benefited greatly. So much so that I can even try to show you on the video here. Or I was watching some little video. I guess he used to play Valorant and now he doesn't, and now he makes money. So that's interesting. Let me see if I can full screen this. As you can see at the very top right here, it says Bliss. The reason for that, and I'm kind of making like a whole, I'm literally just titling it The One and Only Guide to Love Your Life. It's more of a personal book of sorts, just because my mindset tends to shift around a lot. But I pretty much experienced what I call, quote unquote, the bliss. And pretty much what that was the most like heightened, enlightened point of my life. The reason I say that is, again, because I was just locked in and just through self-improvement, whether it be my physique, maybe I'll throw up like a photo or two here, just kind of like improvements over time. I'll try to do minimal edits here, but through pursuing other things that gave me purpose, that gave me a big goal, whether I was pursuing a girlfriend at the time, which obviously when you're like a 17-year-old dude and you haven't dated anyone before, that's obviously like, whoa, big, right? I didn't have friends when I moved here for probably like 2 years, which that was obviously very, very difficult. I've been more of a reserved person overall, but it's still nice to have people regardless. You just feel very connected. It's also during COVID, so that was not great. So halfway pretty much cross country, from West to East Coast, no friends, COVID, mask, plexiglass, quiet, more reserved personality on top of that. It's not a great mix. But because of the small things and the habits that I did over time, maybe within like a 5-month period, I was able to go from probably worst level ever to where, I've been pretty decent about like, eating clean, stuff like that. So I've never been the worst on that. It's not like I was like, like super fat or super skinny, like in any like, too far off point. Well, I guess I was skinny fat. So I guess that's kind of like the worst spot you can be in. But because of the gym, because of other small habits, meditation, journaling, cold shower, those were my big 3. And I'll talk about that more in later videos. I was really able to change change myself, change my life, change my perspective on things, which again is kind of the reason why I'm even writing this little guide for myself anyway, just in case if I do ever get lost again, as I think I kind of have. You know, you just get complacent at times, and I want this to kind of be my final, you know, carved in stone sort of deal for myself. So yeah, whole point of this channel, obviously I don't think many people are gonna watch this video because I'm not providing much value, but hopefully this can just be like the humble beginnings, whether you're seeing this from YouTube as you're on right now, or maybe from Instagram. I also plan on going bigger on that. TikTok, probably not, just because I've kind of just got to a point where it's just, yeah, there's value on TikTok because you can grow, but as of right now, it's just not my, mentally wise, in order for me to focus on this. It's a guide, I'm gonna just call it a book because it sounds nicer. So I can tell people, like, they'll be like, oh, what you been up to? I'm like, oh, I'm writing a book. I don't know, it just sounds more interesting when I meet people. But yeah, so that's gonna be about it. Pretty much my journey going from where I'm at now back to that prime age of 17, but obviously in this case I'll be like 19, 20 by the time I plan on getting back to it. Because it did really change my life, just focusing on the small things. I think, if anything, to provide some value in this video, I think focusing on the habits is more important than anything else. I don't think, like, yeah, having a good mindset and things like that are nice, but you can get so caught up in, oh, you need this David Goggins mindset of nothing but discipline, or this, you know, maybe just more passive, you know, oh, you know, enjoy life or whatever, smell the roses, this and that. And honestly, it comes down to the habits. It really does. Like I said, I focus on meditation, journaling, and cold showers. Obviously, I tried to push myself in, you know, the gym, eating clean, no sugar, which I did for quite a while. That had a lot to do with identity, which is something I'll kind of get into. That's something I'm also working back into as well. So yeah, fitness and mental health are pretty much going to be the most important. I'll say that now. Over just about anything. People will be like, oh, well, you should read books and this and that. But you can't read books when you don't, like, when your life sucks, you're not worried about reading books. I'll just say that right now. At no point was I worried about, I got books, like I got like Cybernetics, which is obviously a good book. Everything was about to fall off my shelf. But as you can see, I've gotten halfway and I've reread these first few pages, but I've been stuck here for probably like, gosh, when did I get this book? Like a year ago, maybe. Where I have like Atomic Habits on my bed. Who knows if I'll even read that later. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to make this an introduction of who I am, where I'm going, kind of the whole purpose of this channel. And I guess just to recap that, I'm 19, just going about the world. You see all these people making 10K a month, doing all these crazy things, and everyone has their humble early beginnings. I want to make this mine. I've been procrastinating making this video for probably like, gosh, like almost a month at this point. I don't know why, because I'm not horrible in front of the camera. I can talk pretty easily, so it's not like a problem. I'm somewhat used to this. I've posted other videos on YouTube through different channels for like affiliate marketing stuff, but yeah, going from 19 back to achieving what I'm going to call the bliss. That's pretty much just going to be my big tagline, is achieving the bliss again. You know, other people are, you know, it's like, do the hard work, especially if you don't feel like it. Or this other guy, John Mark Stevenson, his is like the 5-4-5 method, and that's his big thing. Clear that notification. People have their big things, their big like mottos, their big kind of what they're known for, and I want mine to be known as the bliss, because I do genuinely feel as though it's just something that I've never felt before in like the best way ever. It's this sense of like enlightenment, as if you feel like so fulfilled in not only what you're doing, but like where you're going. Like I had such good momentum to where I wasn't even at the top. I wasn't at the climax of my journey or my story, the chapter of my life at that point yet. But the way that I was headed and the things that I had achieved on the way, it felt like I was in the middle point. It felt like, it's like with anything you start. When you're starting a habit, you have your, you know, your beginning and your end. So when you're at the beginning, it's hard. You kind of keep going. And then it gets to like this middle point, like between the middle and like the beginning point where you kind of like stop. Because it begins to get a bit more uphill. That's when you're finally starting to come up. But at this point, most people quit. I pushed through it and got to this midpoint from the middle to about the climax. So near, I guess, the end, if you want to call it. We'll just do it this way. By the time I got to this middle point, I got to this easy point where all I had to do was break through this midpoint. And all that came through was the habits and consistency. Once I did that, I hit the end. Like I said, I had friends. I could actually socialize relatively well. Something I even noticed about myself now is I kind of stutter a little bit. Before, I didn't stutter. Not like it just, things were just smooth. It just happened. I'd imagine myself as like a certain celebrity or someone who's just really good with words. They're charismatic, they're confident, and just words were coming out. That's just how I was. I wasn't making friends with everybody. I was still me. I was still kind of reserved to my group, but like when people did come by, it happened. You know, so I was never like the most popular guy, but like I can get around, I guess. Now I don't necessarily have that same confidence. My physique overall has improved greatly through this thing. I guess that's kind of a sidetrack. But with this whole thing, by having that momentum, creating momentum through the habits, through consistency, and through dedication, I was able to achieve enlightenment, the bliss, this great feeling of like, I'm actually gonna make it. That's pretty much the best way to phrase it, is it's the feeling of like, oh, I'm gonna make it, or even just I have made it, you know? So this isn't the best. This wasn't the most well scripted. I had a clip before this. I don't even know if I'm gonna add it in, but I pretty much started and said I should probably clip it and then ended the video. So that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully my next one I should have out sometime this week. I'm gonna give out genuine value. It's one of the first few I've put out, and it's pretty much gonna be about journaling. I think there's a lot of power in it, a lot of power of, there's this whole idea that we always need to be better. We need the 10K a month or the physique and this and that. But we can't necessarily get to that point without even being happy for what we have right now. Because if we base all our happiness on what could be, you're never going to be happy. And that's something I'm trying to remind myself of a bit more. As you can see, I have like 4 books here. These aren't 4 different journals, they're just random notebooks, but I'm on my 2nd journal right now. And every single time I write in it, I always feel better. So I want to make that the big thing on how gratitude, and specifically gratitude journaling, will change your life. It'll change your perspective. It'll actually give you a solid foundation that is going to lead you to the top, because that's what it did with the Bliss originally. So this is kind of like my fat to fit, which is my primetime 17-year-old brain, to fat again, which is kind of where I'm at now mentally, right? And then back to fit, being able to achieve the bliss again, because that has been my goal for the past, probably a year. I think I fell off when I was like 18. I'm like 19, not 19 and a half, 19 in like a few months. So I'm hoping by the time I'm 20, which will be in May, so next summer, I'll be able to be at that level again, to where it's just that mental, it's like being in the zone. It's like mental clarity, but all the time. And it's a wonderful feeling, and it's really why I want to make this. Because it's truly like, there would just be times where I would just like, it might be weird to say, but like I would just be journaling and I would just cry, because I was just so like overwhelmed with this feeling of like, I'm actually doing it. Like this dream, this thing that I've had in my mind for years that I've procrastinated on, is actually coming to be something. And that's something I want you guys to have. That's something I want to have again. So hopefully that's something you're interested. If it is, like, comment, do all the, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this will be day 1. So stick around. I'm grateful for you guys, or anyone who actually is watching this video. We'll start off with gratitude just like that. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.